Hey everyone, this is Mike.
And this is Brian of Fellowship Home Loans.
Many things make us different, but what do our clients say?
We can close your loan in weeks, not months like other lenders. They love our low rates and, of course, our personalized one-on-one approach.
Call us today at 800-804-SAVE or online at fellowshiphomeloans.com.
Welcome to Are You Real Business, providing you with all the tools necessary to be mentally, physically, and spiritually prepared to start and run your own business. Our no-frills, fact-based, reality-driven strategies arm you with the knowledge to overcome the questions, struggles, and pitfalls that all come with new business, and the faith to see it through to the end. Now, please welcome the host of Are You Real Business, Michael McIntyre.
Hi, this is Michael McIntyre with Authentic Business, and I'm going to be talking about how to be and find the authentic you in business. Hey, you can still catch Are You Real with John Fuller every Wednesday on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. That's right, I said it. Hey, listen, I'm excited today because I've got a special guest. This is my very first guest. And, I've waited a long time. I think I've had about 640,000 episodes. Not really, but I've had quite a few episodes. And so we're over here at the Porchéddu's house here in Dallas, Texas, with their two beautiful young children, great artistic husband, and all kinds of really cool hipster people here. Right?
It sounds like a dream line.
So I want to introduce to you Merrick Porchéddu, and she is the founder and CEO of Artist Uprising. You can hear the children in the background. This is real, baby. This is the authentic world of business right here. Merrick graduated magna cum laude from Mike Curb College of Music Business from Belmont University with a bachelor's in entertainment studies and business. Since Merrick's background has ranged across many creative mediums, from radio syndication and licensing to A&R artist management to web design, public relations, social media management, and becoming the general manager of the fastest growing Dallas co-worker space, where she oversaw activities of 300 startup businesses. Amazing this woman is. So Merrick has got this business called Artist Uprising, and she's been married to David Porchéddu for 4.5 years. They have two beautiful children, and we're sitting in their living room right now in their beautiful house in East Dallas. And so I wanted to bring Merrick on and talk to her and get her insight. The one thing that I love about Merrick is how much she loves her artist and how much she loves Jesus. And I met Merrick back 5 years ago, I guess, at church, where we attended church at Upper Room here in Dallas.
Yeah.
So Merrick, I did send you over some questions, which I'm looking for right now, and I can't seem to locate them. But I think I can remember most of them. First of all, tell me about your relationship with the Lord. When did you get saved, and how long ago was that? And just kind of, because I don't think I've ever heard this story.
Yeah, this is a wild story. So I came to know the Lord when I was 8. I had a very crazy encounter with the Lord. I remember praying one night and I said, okay, God, if you're real, show me.
Come on.
And that was, I remember it so vividly.
Good.
And anyway, that night I actually had a dream that I was in my old house and I walked out of the front door and there was a massive angel, and the angel said that it came from the Lord and that he wanted to give me a tour of heaven. So
come on. That's an encounter.
It was an encounter. The dream was very long. It was very elaborate, but one of the parts about this dream, this gets very real, very fast.
Come on, I love it.
But in this dream, when I got to heaven, I walked up and I saw the gates, and the gates were alive. And I remember so specifically thinking how creative this was. And it was like a living, breathing organism. And when I pressed my ear up to the gates, I could hear the prayers of every language. And I walked over to the entrance of the gate and completely overwhelmed at what I was seeing and what I was about to experience. And the gate was closed with a lion head, and it had its mouth open, and there was communion in the mouth of the lion. And so it was this dream of taking communion in order to open up those gates. And so I took communion. I had this encounter, even in my dream, of his presence. And I took my first step into heaven, and my mom woke me up for school. And so I went into kind of a depression.
Wow, because you had to come back out of the dream.
I was in a weird 8-year-old depression for a while. And anyway, so then fast forward, I, just kind of lived my life, I've always been very close to the Lord from that point, always talked to him, just kind of did life. And then I had some pretty strong encounters when I was 16. And then it wasn't until I was in college that I thought, I love the Lord. I'm not planning on leaving him, but I feel like I've hit this ceiling of knowing him, and I feel like I really understand who God the Father is and who God the Son is, but I don't know what this Holy Spirit is. And so I just started seeking the Lord for that, and the rest is history.
It's so awesome. It's wow. I love speaking to business owners and entrepreneurs that are Christian. I love hearing their encounter with the Lord, how they became saved, because it's always really something dramatic and something special, you know, and that's special. That's awesome. Okay, so I found these questions. I did find them. So I want you to tell our audience about your business, because I think you have a very unique business. You're the truest entrepreneur I think I know, because you've got this thing and you've started and you've had some ups and downs. But tell the audience what your business is and what it does.
So my business, it's called the Artist Uprising. I run it with a partner. Her name is Angela Ross. And essentially what we do is we pair artists or talent of all types with lucrative opportunities. So we work a lot with brands, we work a lot with companies, and these clients will come and they'll say, hey, we have a big gala event where we want live art and we want live music and or we want photographers or videographers, or we want to shoot this commercial or whatever it is. And so we sit down with these clients and we get their budgets, we get their demographics, but we get their messaging. And we really try to understand what it is exactly that they're trying to say to culture. And then we go and we find the most culturally relevant artists and pair them with that. So we tend to really love the emerging tipping point, what we call tipping point artists. So artists that are working their butts off to try to get somewhere. And they have the talent, but they're not necessarily, $500,000 to book. It might be $5,000 to book.
Right.
But we really try to look for these moments where we can bring somebody up and give them a really cool opportunity with a brand partnership or whatever. So that is generally what we do.
And how long ago did you start this company?
Okay, so this concept of this company started maybe 9 years ago.
Why do you laugh?
Because it has been through so many twists and turns and changes and revenue models and oh my gosh, the whole thing. Pitching to investors.
That never happens with entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
I'm being sarcastic, audience. You can't see my face.
At least I didn't lose $1 million.
Amen to that. I've done that.
$500,000. And no, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so it started, the idea was kind of about maybe 9 years ago. And then really this model of pairing, talent with brands is actually fairly new. It started maybe just this last January.
And what gave you the inspiration to do that?
A failed business before that. Truly. I mean, essentially the failed business that I had before, and I'll say failed, but it's actually is really, really great concept that we are still doing it just differently. So what it was before was an app. It was just a technology that essentially did the exact same thing that we're doing now, but just realizing that maybe the world isn't quite ready to, I'll tell you this, curating is what we do.
Okay.
And curating it takes time and it takes trust. And so clients that come to us, they're like, oh yeah, sure, they might curate. But then when we actually do something for them and they realize that that's a very difficult and hard thing to find. Mm-hmm. You can't just call a talent agency and just say, I want to book so-and-so, because that client actually might not know they might not really want that.
Right.
And so we pull out of them what they really want and end up giving them a great, show or whatever they're trying to achieve. And so before, when I was doing this with the technology, you take out the personhood out of it, and it wasn't working.
The communication. There's lacking in communication. Yes. So your talent lies, if I'm right on this, Merrick, is communicating, number one, to the artist. Okay, finding these artists at whatever stage, hopefully at the emerging stage, right, where they've got some success, but they're not drawing, $100 million a year in revenue, right? But then trying to bring that client that wants to get an artist and communicate that and pair these guys up, right?
Yeah, and we do work a lot with some celebrity artists, and that's growing more and more because there are clients that are like, we just want this celebrity. But what's really cool is our business model is that the client will come and they'll say, I have, let's say $100,000 that I want to spend. I don't want to spend any more than that on entertainment, but I want this artist, who might be $70,000.
And this could be for a show or an event or a corporate function.
We'll say a corporate function for live entertainment.
Okay.
And that entertainment budget could include music, but it could also include live art. It could include dancers. It could include, whatever they want.
Video and
videographers, like whatever they really need. And so what we'll do is we'll negotiate and we'll go to the artists, and a lot of the times we're not necessarily negotiating price with the artist. They just give us their price, and if it fits, great. If it doesn't, then we move on to another artist that it will fit with. But what's awesome is that once we actually curate the talent, we go back to the client and we have not exceeded their budget. And then the artist is so happy because a lot of the times they undercut themselves on their pricing. Even their agents will. And we'll come and we'll...
Because they haven't hit that stardom yet or that huge success.
Some of them are quite successful.
And they'll still undercut themselves?
And they're still a little bit undercutting themselves.
Is it because of lack of fear that they're not going to get the gig?
Probably.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking with like a major agency like a CAA or William Morris agency, like... They have all their fees on top too. So it's quite a big number, but at the same time, that's not the case every time.
Right.
And so, and I'll put it in this term too, like if it's not music, but it's an artist, like we just curated an artist to do commission pieces for a whole lobby in a building. And that budget is just as good as the music budget. And we're not having to do a ton of contracts. Yeah. It's pretty easy.
There's one person you're basically dealing with instead of subcontractors, videographers.
Right. And I, with that, and that one in particular, she undercut herself so much that when I came back to her, I still was saving the client a lot of money and ended up giving that girl $3,000 more than she asked for. So it was an amazing payday. It's awesome. It's like our mission is to abolish the term starving artistry, and that's kind of how we're doing it.
I love that. So that's so cool. I think your business has got such a niche.
Yeah.
It's got a niche because I think it's easy for people to find managers or somebody to come in there and take over their social media. If they've got 5 million followers and if they're booking out at $100,000 a show.
Right.
But it's hard when somebody's out there trying to get their foot in the door.
Right.
Yeah? And you'll take those people.
Yeah. And what's really neat, and this happens a lot too, is that when we are pitching talent to the client hasn't necessarily they don't know the numbers yet. We just present it as though it's all equal. Well, but we don't, for art, we basically don't give any names. We just put out the art and we say, which one do you like? And once they determine and figure all what they want, and I go back to the artist, this last one was really cool because I put 5 artists out there and only one of them was emerging. The others were all pretty famous and were going to cost a lot of money. And they picked the emerging artist, not knowing that she was that. So the thing that's really neat about that is I was able to put more money in her pocket because she didn't expect it, but I didn't expect that the client was going to pick the emerging talent. I just knew to throw her in with the big dogs.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So one of the things I love about you, Merrick, and interviewing you earlier with David is how much you care about your clients. And I think that's really special. And I think that's what makes you successful because and not to sound cynical, but a lot of times in this industry, it's more about, how much I can get. And, and they don't really care as much about the talent or the artist. Right. And I think that's probably, probably gives the industry a black eye, if you will.
Yeah.
So with that, I want to ask you, number one, is that hard to overcome the stigma of this industry that it's always just out to use somebody, or and how do you bring your faith into this business as well?
When Angela and I sit down to really figure out the business model of this, I thought it was really interesting how we are both very transparent people, and we want to be very transparent with clients and artists. And so as we were putting this together and realizing, hey, there's clients that are coming that have these massive budgets, and the talent that they want is coming up very, very low on, and so we're like, okay, well, we could go and pay the talent what they've asked. We can take the money that the client wants and just make a lot of money. And nobody needs to know.
Right.
We talked about that, and we were like, no, because that's the way that the industry has always been.
Come on.
And so we just made a rule, and you'll find it on our website that, we take 20% of the budget, and we will go and we'll negotiate on both sides. So we will try to either hit the budget or come up underneath the budget for the client, and we will try to put more money in the pockets of the artist. And so our 20% is our 20%. It doesn't change. And I think that alone, being very open and clear to both parties, hey, this is how we work. We would love to work with you. I mean, it is amazing how much we're hearing from all types of people. I mean, from the artist side, but even from record companies that are calling us saying, we love that you guys are this transparent.
Good.
So
that's so good. So let me pause just a minute so we can hear from our sponsor, and I want to come back and talk about your faith in this business.
We get asked all the time, why Fellowship Home Loans? What makes us different? Hey everyone, this is Mike.
And this is Brian of Fellowship Home Loans.
Many things make us different, but what do our clients say?
We can close your loan in weeks, not months like other lenders. They love our low rates and, of course, our personalized one-on-one approach. And always, our clients get 2 months off from their mortgage payments and $1,000 back at closing.
Our motto itself, mortgage lending guided by Christian principles. Call us today at 800-804-SAVE or online at fellowshiphomeloans.com.
So, welcome back. And Merrick, I want to ask you, I love your motto. I love the transparency because that's what's attracting the people to you. And I know you're a Christian, and you and your husband, your family walk with the Lord, and it shows up big. So how does it show up in your business, and how do you rely on your faith in your business?
Well, every single day, Angela and I we sit there and we're like, oh God, I mean,
so Angela's a Christian too?
Yes, she is. And thank God, because there's no way that you could be in the entertainment industry with somebody who's not your blood. But it's a lot of prayer. It's a lot of we're just kind of living the day by day, just being like, okay, what next? And everything that we have going on right now, which is very interesting because I have a lot of business coaches being like, okay, well, what are you going to do to go get more business? And right now, business is coming to us. Now, I don't know
if that will.
Yes, thank you, Jesus, because I don't know if that will be forever, but it is like manna, and it's one of those things where we have to keep having that conversation of this is for today. This is, we're just going to put, just trust the Lord in what we've got going on today and hope that more comes tomorrow. And so far, that's kind of been the case. And it's just everything that we do is relational. And, that transparency kind of makes just these relationships grow. And so people are sending us business, and that's great and awesome. But I would say just, my faith in all of this is, I think at this point in my life in general, I'm really, it's almost like this is my ministry. This business is my ministry. And I didn't realize how much it was that until a couple years ago. I started doing these things called For Artist Only nights. And it was just an open platform where artists could come, and we would throw out a topic of how do you make money with your art, and people would come, and it was just a packed house, and we would talk about that. We'd bring in guest speakers. But what was amazing was at the end of those sessions, people would just be sharing some gut-wrenching, honest truths that their parents disowned them because they were going to become artists and not doctors, and some real live stuff. And you're like, okay, and a lot of these were not Christians. This wasn't a Christian platform for them to come. So that to me was the first time I would come home from those and just cry to David and say, this, like my heartstrings are being pulled on massively to help these people. So
wow. So, I think my videographer's parents he's a doctor too. And do they want you to become a doctor as well?
Actually, no.
That's good. So I digress a second. I just had to throw that out there. Two things I want to get to because I don't want to miss these two things, which is really important because you talked about having the artists come and share their experience and how they can monetize their art. And you and I have talked about a little bit about this, and I think you're creating I don't want to say it, an art curriculum or an art institute or a way to monetize that. Tell me a little bit about what you're planning on that. And then also I want you to be able to tell our audience, because I know there's some people out there who are artists that want to monetize their product, want to make money doing it. Yes, they might be worshiping the Lord. Yes, they might be writing albums for Jesus, but they also need to eat. And they need to buy a car, and they need to pay for tuition. And so I want them to know how to get a hold of you. But let's talk about this institute. I don't think you like that name, but I can't remember. Not yet. So tell me the format that you're putting together for this summer.
Yeah, so it's kind of been coming off of that for artist only nights. I wanted to put together more of a true curriculum for creatives. And this will be for the summer. I think we're going to start with a 6-week program. It'll just be, every Thursday for 2.5 hours, but where we really break down on each week, how to make money with your art, or how to do PR for yourself, or how to do authentic social media marketing and strategy around ads and your demographics, and these things to really, it goes into so much, like how to even just know how to network strategically on your behalf or collaborate with other artists that will actually push the needle forward. I think a lot of the times artists and entrepreneurs will, because this is me to the nth degree, but you'll get excited about a project and your wheels will start spinning, but it doesn't make money. And so, for the entrepreneur, you're forced to switch, but for the artist, it's what you love. And you're like, but it's art, it's just, this is my music. But at the end of the day, like, if you really want to impact culture, you got to make it.
It's good.
And so I really want this training course to be, a very intensive program where people, they kind of have to apply. They've got to audition to be a part of this. I'm taking only a few students, but to really tell them, hey, this is what we do from a PR standpoint. This is what you can do. You don't have to pay $1,600 a month for PR until you really need it, but you don't really need it right now. You can do this.
Because some people are bamboozled into that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So are you going to charge for this course?
Yeah, and we're still trying to work it all out. I can't even remember what I even sent you, but it won't be terribly expensive. It'll be something that artists can afford. There will be some more intensive programs that I think will cost more after that, where you really get into like more intermediate and advanced levels for when it comes to, using PR as an example, but to really get into the how-tos there. But that being said, like, I think this will be really, really neat course for people. And I'd love to, something that I was sharing with you before, but I would love to even create eventually a scholarship program that we have even our advertisers that run ads on our website their money actually go towards a scholarship, to get these kids through. So
because they need it, and I like that because I think there's so many artists, there's so many talented people out there, but they just need that break.
Yeah,
and they need somebody that they can mentor and show them how to do their social media, how to manage them, and like you said, a lot of times what's amazing to me is they undercut their own selves because of the insecurities.
Right. Well, it is hard to negotiate your pricing for your art, something that you love to do. And that's one thing that we really, it's a service that Artist Uprising just does for any artist. Yeah. It doesn't matter, if you're under our management agreements or not. It's more of like, hey, if there's an opportunity that comes to us, we're already negotiating on your behalf, sometimes even before we even approach you.
Yeah.
To where we kind of already know your pricing, or we'll request your pricing. But there's a lot of the times, like there's one artist I will say who has an orchestra, okay? A lot of people. He should be charging a lot more than what he's charging. And if we book him, we're going to end up giving him exactly what the standard rate would be for somebody like him. But I'm going to have a sit-down conversation with him.
A hard one.
And say, listen.
You're leaving money on the table?
Well, yeah, and you're all these people that are playing with you, like they're going to be leaving with $50. Like, no.
It's not enough.
Yeah. And so it's just it's a learning curve, and they don't know because
nobody's taught them.
Then they don't have,
So I love the fact that one of the things is Merrick is married to a very successful worship leader, artist, and he's done his own music, David Porchéddu. He's got great music out there. And so it's kind of, so you get the artist mentality because you're married to one, which is really cool. But you also have such a rich business experience too, and you understand business, which I think makes you very unique. And I think that's why Artist Uprising is going to be, and is successful. All right, so I'm going to pause one more time for our sponsors, and then I want to come back and talk to you about Forbes.
We get asked all the time, why Fellowship Home Loans? What makes us different? Hey everyone, this is Mike.
And this is Brian of Fellowship Home Loans.
Many things make us different, but what do our clients say?
We can close your loan in weeks, not months like other lenders. They love our low rates and, of course, our personalized one-on-one approach. And always, our clients get 2 months off from their mortgage payments and $1,000 back at closing.
Our motto itself, mortgage lending guided by Christian principles. Call us today at 800-804-SAVE or online at fellowshiphomeloans.com.
Okay, so tell us about Forbes, because I saw on Instagram, I don't know, 6-8 weeks ago, I'm flipping through Instagram, and I see this smoking hot blonde on here, and I see Forbes right next to it. I thought, wow, Merrick, that's awesome. So what happened with all that?
No.
What happened with all that?
That was funny because I had just sat down, maybe in January, I sat down with one of my interns who is about to start running our PR division of Artist Uprising. She's been with me for a year. And I said, listen, I want to give you my A list of where I would like to take Artist Uprising. And so Forbes was on there. There's, Inc. There's Billboard, BuzzFeed. If any of you are listening out there, just call me. No. Anyway, so I was trying to put together kind of an A list of some national press, and we had not sat down to have that conversation. We had it planned, had it scheduled to sit down, and I got a call from Forbes saying, it was an email. I got an email from Forbes saying, hey, we saw that you are voted #1 hottest startup last year in Dallas, and we would love to invite you to become a part of Forbes Dallas Business Council. And it was a new chapter that they were opening up, and I thought, this is a scam. And how much?
How much is this going to cost me?
And what are the perks? And,
right.
So just kind of asked the questions to find out what all it was about. And, they came back and they said it will cost. There will be other members that will come in and, and they kind of shared the perks with me. And they said, but for founding members, it's free. And you would have the chance to basically write for Forbes, be a contributing writer for Forbes. So I have always had my whole life wanted to be a contributing writer to Forbes.
No way.
In the weirdest way.
Come on.
And I love
that must have been
write.
A prayer.
Yeah. I love to write. I love to teach. I love to, be informative. And I'm like, anyway. So right now I'm on this big thing about millennials. So I wrote an article actually that's about to come out probably in the next couple weeks about company culture, how to five ways to build a company culture that reaches millennials. And anyway, so as I was talking with them about what all this entailed, they said, we'll reach out to you in March. So I thought, okay, well, we'll find out if it's a scam or not. So that week, and so here comes March or middle of March, and Forbes had contacted again. They set up an interview. I didn't even know what I was interviewing for. And I was just answering some questions. And then the next thing I know, I get an email from Forbes saying, hey, your company has been featured on Forbes. And then literally the very next email was, hey, you guys won #1 hottest startup again from Dallas from a different thing. And so
cool.
It was just cool. It was that week. It was a lot going on.
That's awesome. So it's a great picture. It's a good day. It's good. And I'm going to be posting it as well, so all our listeners can see it and hear it, or see it anyway, so they can put this great voice to this beautiful face. And so I want you to I want you to offer maybe 2 things to the audience for other entrepreneurs out there that might be startups, because you went through a long period of a startup for a long time before you figured this thing out, a lot of changes. Can you give from a biblical point of view and an entrepreneur point of view, if there is such a thing, I think there is, some advice to maybe, two things of wisdom. And I want you to, you got these quotes here, which I think are amazing. So I'd like to have you say them in your whichever one you want to say in your own words, in your own voice. I'd love for you to give some advice to our up and coming entrepreneurs or some entrepreneurs are out there that are trying to get to that next level, that are struggling. They're almost there, but not quite.
I mean, the advice that was given to me that I applied, and it's been the gold sauce to all of this, is diligence.
It's good. Diligence. I like it.
I would say for the entrepreneur, but also for the artist, if you stay diligent in your craft and keep moving forward, something's going to happen. Right. Just don't keep doing the thing that's not working. And that takes time. It takes a lot of time. And there's an example of an artist who I started following maybe a year and a half ago, and his art was very good. It wasn't anything that I thought, wow, this is exceptional, but it was good. He had maybe 300 followers,
right.
And his Instagram, I think, is Magdeal Pop, or anyway, his name is Magdeal Lopez, but
cool name. Then
he started posting. He had this idea of posting a poster, or creating a poster a day for a year. So it was, for the next 365 posts that came out, they were all the same of this like poster series. And it was mind blowing. And I thought that is a visual picture of the entrepreneur life. Doing something that, this is obviously something that he's very good at. He is an artist, but he shifted the whole thing and put his focus towards one project, one thing, and he focused all of that creativity into one concept for 365 days.
Wow.
And now he's, last I checked, like 60,000 followers, or maybe more than that, and he is the inspiration of our publication that's coming out.
I love it.
So
that's awesome. That's great. So how does somebody follow you or find you out there?
Yeah, they can just go to artistuprising.com. That's how you can, if you're a company or a artist, you can click which side you are on, and you can kind of see what our services are to each side, or you can follow us on Instagram at Artist Uprising. That's
awesome. And if anybody wants to check us out or send me an email or send me something like that, you can go to our social media at Facebook at Are You Real, Instagram at Are You Real Pod, and at the web you can go to areyoureal.org and do the scroll down and find my name, Michael McIntyre, and you can send me an email or find me on Facebook as well. So, Merrick, thank you so much for this interview. It's been great.
Yeah, thank
for
you.
my first interview with a true entrepreneur and Jesus lover and a mother and a wife and just an all-around superstar. So thank you, Merrick.
Thank you so much.
We're real proud of you, and we'll be praying for Artist Uprising. Hey, Are You Real Nation out there? Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening, and thank you for listening to our sponsors and supporting our sponsors. Hey, every week, all you have to do is go out there and give everybody your very best presentation, because Jesus is King. He's the Lord of Lords. He's the name above all names. Put Jesus first in all your business and all your marriage and all your finances and everything, even at church especially. Have a great week. Good luck and great selling.
We get asked all the time, why Fellowship Home Loans? What makes us different? Hey everyone, this is Mike.
And this is Brian of Fellowship Home Loans.
Many things make us different, but what do our clients say?
We can close your loan in weeks, not months like other lenders. They love our low rates and, of course, our personalized one-on-one approach. And always, our clients get 2 months off from their mortgage payments and $1,000 back at closing.
Our motto itself, mortgage lending guided by Christian principles. Call us today at 800-804-SAVE or online at fellowshiphomeloans.com.
That's all for this episode of Are You Real Business. For more resources as well as specialized e-courses, next-level training programs, videos, and exclusive content, visit us at areyoureal.org. We appreciate you joining us and look forward to having you back for the next episode of Are You Real Business. Take care.